My name is Scott Malloy. I'm a retired professor emeritus at URI. I'm also a resident of Exeter. You know, we live in an era of swirling issues that separate friends and neighbors and relatives. But one thing stands out above everything else, above health care, taxes, nominations, and walls. A subject that actually should unite us is that Russian espionage has damaged our political system, has hacked thousands of emails from one party only, has crossed the border with thousands of cyber attacks, and bribed influential United States officials. But there are no treason. But there is no treason without traitors. And we can go back to Judas, to Benedict Arnold, to V. Quisling, who sold Norway out to the Nazis in World War II. But now we have some Americans embracing the Soviet Union.
Yes, sir.
The Soviet Union where dissidents, opponents, even parliamentary representatives are assassinated and no culprits are ever brought to justice. Here in America, the Trojan horse has breached the boundary and unloaded its cargo. And surprise, inside that Trojan horse were no Hispanic immigrants, but agents working against the interests of America. If we're not careful, every traitorous step will lengthen into a goose step. And Vladimir Lenin has become Vladimir Putin, who will become Vladimir Trump. Let me say in conclusion that only we people here and you legislators and representatives stand between traditional American liberties and Russian serfdom. Lock them up! Lock them up!
I've known Scott for several decades, and I first learned never to follow him oratorically, but I'm going to break that rule. There is no underestimating the severity of what took place in the last election. And here's what's been established by our intelligence community. At the highest levels, Putin, there was an order to go in and hack into the numerous websites, use that information to undermine and deliberately undermine, this is the conclusion of the intelligence community, Secretary Clinton's campaign in favor, at that time, candidate Trump's campaign. It was not just hacking, it was disinformation. Literally, there are 1,000 trolls going into a building 24/7 in Moscow that were generating through bot networks and all sorts of information. Now, one example is that they would take a propaganda filmed by their TV station, RT, and they would put it on the air. Not many people would watch it on the air, but once they get it onto YouTube, with all these trolls and all their bot systems, they would drive the viewership up into the millions, and suddenly on your screen, when you looked at what was trending, that was trending. And a lot of people with no connection to anything other than, gee, this looks interesting, we're getting deliberately false information. So we have to respond to that. Here is what we're doing, and we're not, I'll be honest, doing enough yet. The Intelligence Committee of both the House and the Senate are investigating. I'm a member ex officio of the Senate Intelligence Committee. We've been looking very carefully at documents, and we're getting ready to continue our research efforts. You see The House side, they've already had Director Comey come before. Director Comey made it very clear they're investigating some individuals associated with the Trump campaign. That he also categorically refuted the charge that President Obama was wiretapping Mr. Trump's phone. So that's Senator Whitehouse, along with Senator Graham, is taking the leadership of the Judiciary Committee to look at some of these operations in the context of the criminal justice system. So there's multiple things that are going on, but as I said again, I think what we really need is, as Jim has introduced in the House and I in the Senate along with Sheldon, a joint committee, well-staffed, that can go in, ask the questions with professional staffers, get the answers, and then do the legislative and administrative provisions that will protect us in the future, because this is just not about history. This is about the future of our democracy. And then finally, we do need a special prosecutor, because at the end of the day, we have to have an individual stand up that has the complete confidence of all the American people, North, South, East, West, Republican, Democrat, Independent, who will say very definitively, this is what happened, these are the legal consequences, these are my recommendations going forward. And that's what I think we want to try.